morning. Welcome to the early rise on the Bridge Nation 99 FM. Thanks so much for joining us. This is a different era in radio. Yesterday was World Radio Day, Yes, and despite the proliferation of social media, there is still an enormous area in which radio alone covers. And so we celebrate the medium on which we are able to share with you every day. Monday to Wednesday, 5 o'clock until 7 o'clock in the morning in Jamaica, Pearnel, Charles and myself offer thoughts on the news of the day and offer thoughts also on the affairs that touch Jamaica, even if they are far, far away from us. We invite your participation. We're grateful for the proliferation through the medium of radio, through the transmission that's possible that technology offers all over the world. The bridge is designed to bring together Jamaicans, people of Jamaican origin, people of Jamaican affection, all over the world. And so this program has its live broadcast now, but is radiated all over the world. You can get to us on the internet line, and you can also call us on the WhatsApp text line 876-551-5782. The studio line for direct voice contact is 876-676-4996. The bridge picking up the essences, the various streams and tendons of Jamaican culture, radiating these all over the world. Yes, seeking return, feedback, that's what we do. And so, this morning, we look at a lot of the news that's happening. I'm following the CNN tracker, as we often do in the studio here. And here is President Biden of the United States, noting that in the Super Bowl last night, there was so little evidence of people wearing masks. And he makes a profound point. He says, well, personal freedom is not personal freedom if you use it to the jeopardy of others. I wonder if we all accept that. Boy, I'm in a business with other people, me just do it myself, and I'm number one. I heard a woman on television the other day said that she's a member of the Me First generation. Okay. And she was speaking about how she sculpts her body and comports her life in a way that is going to meet her personal preferences. And, well, okay, undoubtedly that is her freedom to do so. But I'm going to ask her not to have any children. Because if you are if you are a me first person, there's something contradictory about being a mother. Because a mother, indeed a parent, is by its very nature a giver. Yes? If you're going to be any good at it, if you're not going to spoil up that child or the social order around you by your personal choices. So President Biden, in my view, is right. And it's a lesson we have to learn in Jamaica too, and about our affairs in Jamaica. I'm going to pick up on that with Pearnel Charles later regarding the 2022-23 budget, which was tabled in Parliament in Jamaica since we last appeared on the early rise. What does it really reflect? Whose interests is it serving? Yeah, and we want the maximum of personal freedom. What do you use the personal freedom for? Just to big up yourself? Or to ensure that in your strength, you radiate that strength to others, not in a selfish way, not in a me-first way, but rather with a recognition that your dignity and your humanity and the respect that you seek is in fact contingent upon the gift of those attributes, those values to other people, indeed everyone. Yes? So how about that? Yeah, well, here we go. There are big issues in Jamaica that we're facing. Some of them don't appear immediately out of the current news, The issue about the chicken prices, which no doubt you've heard of and we've been talking about in previous programs, all of that has a deeper question. What is the best food for Jamaicans to eat? And where should it come from? What role should we have in providing that for ourselves? I have a question for our policymakers and for indeed all of us this morning. The investment in agriculture is anemic. It's bloodless in Jamaica, very little. We've heard the complaints about you can't get any bank financing for that, but we can get a whole heap of bank financing. What is bank financing? Bank financing is the use of our savings. It's not the big man bank money, It's It's all 2 shilling. Go in there and make up. Every our mickle make for him muckle that he control over. Yeah? And here's this now. You can get, let me build up the argument. Development, that is personal sufficiency and national well-being, is built upon investment, yes? And investment needs factoring, it needs facilitation, and that's what we use personal and national savings for. That's what credit ought to be used for. All right, so now, you can get plenty of credit, plenty of facilitation to buy a car. And you can get plenty, apparently, look around us in the bridge, you can get a whole heap of credit or devote a whole heap of resources, direct investment towards building high-rise apartments and townhouses. Okay. Of themselves, nothing is wrong with that. It's good. Car is a good thing. Nice apartments and townhouses are good things. Yes, don't? But hold on now. If you are doing those things, but you're not investing in producing something as integral as food, are you doing the right thing? Are you acting in a way which is placing other people and yourself in jeopardy? To borrow the example of Mr. Biden and the Super Bowl absence of masks. Think it through with me now. That's what we do on the early rise, No lazy thoughts early in the morning. Clear, pungent thoughts. Okay, so is it the role of the state to direct investment, to prod us all to use our savings, to use our energies in order to do those things which are essential? And yes, build house and have efficient transportation are essential. But how much time as an old wise gentleman used to tell me, him say, you can wear anything and in our climate you can sleep anywhere, but belly is an everyday business. Okay, so we are now faced with a situation where we are dependent largely on somebody else to fulfill our everyday thing, that is filling our belly. Now, to me, that is foolishness. That is unsustainable. And we have not. This is not a theoretical thing. This is a practical thing that we are facing right now. That's what the essence, the bottom line of the chicken price thing, and whether we should import or not, really is. Okay, that's it. Are we going to make our food, good food, nutritious food, not no calorie food or wrong calorie? Are we going to make the health of our nation, which is largely determined by what we eat, are we going to make that a priority? Right now, it isn't. It really isn't. Yeah. The import license and the foreign exchange and the dependency on overseas markets to provide our food is one of the weakest links in our country, and is why a whole heap of people this morning in JA can't eat properly today. And that is why a whole heap of you in the diaspora get these requests to please send them money through remittance services, or please can you fill a barrel with a whole heap of cheap things that you can buy and send it to us. Okay, so let's understand that. Is this sustainable? Can we go on doing this, or can we spend much more attention as part of national policy and personal endeavor, ensuring that we take care of ourselves? Right. And then surely it is important for us to look at the national budget. Nearly $1 trillion, Audley. Trillion. Most Jamaicans can't even figure out how much zero to put in to make up $1 trillion, What is it? 12 zero or 12 digits, 11 zeros have to go in to make up $1 trillion. This year, the budget is nearly $1 trillion. But don't be fooled, because if you take into account devaluation, and if you take into account inflation, yes, then the big money this year of $900+ billion, close to the trillion, that money can buy less than the money the lesser money we spent last year. And when you go shop, whether it is in Gimmebivit or whether it is in Princess Street, that lick you. That lick you. When you go gas station, it's worse, don't? Yeah, because the gas price just a move. World oil prices now, spurred on by all this foolishness in Ukraine, etc., is nearly $100 a barrel. I wonder how much we budgeted for in this budget, because it's not up to that. But we're going to have to find the money for that. Otherwise, the boat going to stand up in the Kingston or Montego Bay Harbour and it now going to let off the oil. You know? Yeah. And I would have liked to see much more windmill and much more solar panel all over the south coast of Jamaica. And wherever wind blow, our sun of shine. And we're slow in that regard. And therefore, we become the hostages of the foreigner. Okay? You can set any price, for him things. We can't do nothing. We don't have no more Petrocaribe. Yeah, that crash was good, but it crashed. Yeah. And therefore, we have to look at our future and what we spend on, very, very importantly. So, I appreciate the Prime Minister saying that after the midterm break, school going to go back to face-to-face, everybody. All right, sir, it's about time. Plenty of people still doubtful, Whole heap of schools are calling and say, no, we're not ready, we can't do this yet, we're going to get the next outbreak, or the teachers them can't turn out, or what about my sick uncle at home, and this is not a head picnic, going carry him virus from Worry and bring to my classroom, all of this nonsense. Well, let me change that word. It may not be nonsense. It may be real to you, but we have to overcome it in order to achieve the higher long-term good of effective education, because the virtual thing not working. I did a poll, a little just informal poll in my church yesterday. Lots of young people. And easily half of them don't have any device at all, Now, granted, that's in a city. But they don't have it. And who have it? Now use it to learn. Too tough. I use it to play video game and watch movie. Okay? So come, let us be clear. So, yes, we want to go back to school. But sir, please, Mr. Prime Minister, Mrs. Minister of Education, tell me about the school feeding. Because the reason why plenty of the picnic can't go back to school, or when they go back to school and can't take in the learning, is because I'm hungry. Yes? And what them buy out to the school gate, the little money where them parents give them, after the plenty bus fare, it can't stretch, and it's no good. It no fill their belly with stuff that's going to uplift their brain. And so we need to think of all of the elements that go in. Simple elements, but very, very profound ones that go into making life better for us. And I really have a question for national policy. Yes, I hear Minister Clark of Finance, saying, look at the construction sector. Look at every crane and every bulldozer there bubble in Jamaica now. Oh, yes, sir, that's good. And people need a nice place to live. Sure. And give you credit, there's some lesser price, but not many. You have to go far out above and beyond if you want that. And even then, if this is the case, are we putting money in the wrong sector? Are we balancing it? I want to see the money put into the sectors that are going to earn export dollars. I mean, I'm not for the mining, because that'll just scrape off the earth, and we lose more than we gain. But I would like to see us spending more to feed ourselves properly and to export the good stuff from Jamaica, which everybody wants and can earn us money in the diaspora. How about that? Yes? Suppose we could do that. Suppose we made that the priority. Yeah. Remember Steve McDonald from Toronto telling us that one breadfruit, sell for the equivalent of 3,000 Jamaican dollars in Canada. 3,000. One breadfruit. Okay? So we would like more of the Canadian dollars that buy up that. So there's much more that we can do for ourselves, and we have to look at very much the priorities that we send. Heard some statistics over the weekend that made me think on this line also. Do you know, oddly, that there was, I think it was last year or the year before the pandemic, the average consumption of meat in the United States per person was 265 pounds. Wow. Okay. Now, if that statistic is correct, and I have no reason to doubt it from the source I heard it, yes, then you understand, because you know that meat eating has a certain effect on your physiology, okay? And also, it also has an impact on climate change because of the methane gas that the cows emit. And therefore, part of the antidote to global warming is to reevaluate meat production. So we know in Jamaica, what are we trying to achieve in terms of our food balance? Why is it that certainly when I was younger, every yard had a peas patch? Yes, certainly in the countryside, you could always get peas, whether it's red peas, gungo peas, broad beans, yes, cowpeas. But now we are eating different things. But should we not try to change our diets or conform our diets from the very earliest stages to those things which we can grow and which are high in, whether it's the proteins or the carbohydrates that we need, okay? Rather than depending on the next man to give us for him left what left. Let me say it again. To sell us for him what left at what price him want sell us, yeah? And then build in, you see how we jingle ourselves? Oh yes, we like freedom of personal freedom to do our commerce, but then you see some of us have personal freedom to hog the chicken back licenses and make a whole heap of money. But then people can't buy more than quarter pound, yeah? And our Sunday dinner is one little piece of chicken bone and plenty of ketchup and gravy with the rice. That is the best we can do. So I really want to ask government. I mean, we are going to hear in the next week or two how the revenues to make up the $1 trillion budget are going to be derived. And I'm concerned about the duty that is levied, for example, on the corn and the soya, which make up the cattle feed and the pig feed. I'm sorry, the chicken feed. So, and I gather that there's duty on the hatching eggs as well. So if you are complaining now that we don't have enough hatching eggs, then what you put duty upon it for? Surely that is one of the things that rather than import, take off the duty so that the local person can get it at a lower price and come through with the local production at a more economical rate for the people, I would have thought. Yes? Plenty mix-up argument there, I understand. But I'm really anxious for us to think straight through, and we use the early rise in order to make some kind of intervention in that regard. But you see, look at it now. 10% of humanity is providing more than 50% of the global warming, you know. So where we stay in that regard, all right? More and more private cars emitting more and more toxic fuels. You can comfort yourself and dismiss the argument by saying, oh, but Jamaica is a minor player in all of this. We're not so bad. True, but hey, nobody's coming to our rescue, you know. Nobody's coming to our rescue. We have to set up ourselves in a way that we are sustainable for generations to come. That is the least that we can do. And in the exercise of our personal freedoms, to come back before we break to where we started, the exercise of our personal freedoms, whether it is in business or in what we eat or in how we relate to others, the exercise of our personal freedom does not permit us to make others vulnerable, to put others in jeopardy. That is a fundamental principle of life. Yes, it's humanistic, secular, as well as religious. Otherwise, you have chaos. Yes, you have the law of the jungle. And out of that, we see sometimes in JA, come the man, we can do better. This is the early rise on the bridge. We'll soon come back. And this is the early rise. It's Monday. It is the 14th of February. Honorable Pearnel Charles, good morning and happy Valentine's Day, sir.
Well, there's a joke in the Valentine, you know.
There is?
Because my daughter called and said, must remember today's Valentine Day.
Uh-huh.
And my mother her mother is my Valentine. I said, that's not true. Your mother is my wife.
Don't you, listen to me, as one long married man to another, don't make that mistake.
Well, I had one where she asked me if I wasn't going to say Happy Mother's Day. I said, you're not my mother.
You're my wife.
I said, my mother is gone.
Well, I tell you, my daughter did a little better. One of my daughters, she provided me with the gift for my wife's Valentine.
Oh, that sounds fabulous.
I mean, she's totally aware of her father's incapacity, but also
inability to understand.
Of the necessity, her ability to understand. So, but anyway, to all of the wonderful ladies and to all those people of goodwill,
yes.
We extend warm Valentine's Day greetings, don't we?
And you know, some of the married women are happier being called and advised that it's Valentine's Day.
Yes, it's
you
true.
know, the younger ones who are not yet married expect it.
Well, yes.
But the others...
The others are even more grateful when they are remembered.
And there's so long time the man don't say Happy Valentine's Day. So, hey, brethren, don't get up and say Happy Valentine's.
Thank you, sir. Hear the wise chief this morning advising you all. Lafayne, Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, so
Good.
right across the diaspora.
Yes.
Right. In many countries, they don't have Valentine's Day.
I think it's a Western custom. It derives from this bishop, Saint Valentine, as he now is known. I think it was in about the 4th century. He the emperor, the Roman emperor, was against early marriage because he felt that if young men got married early, they would be reticent to go to war and defend the empire and expand it. And so there was an edict that against early marriage. But Valentine saw the love between people at an early age, and he encouraged it. And so he lost his life in defense of the truth and the beauty of love over the needs and aspirations and false ambitions of empire.
Yes.
The emperor killed him. So St. Valentine's becomes the patron of lovers.
Okay.
So I believe that's the history. We've changed it, as we often do with these very mystical and virtuous accounts. We've changed it into a commercial.
Things of the past.
Splurge, you know.
One man said things of the past should pass with the past.
Yeah. But now, Mr. Charles, come return to serious business. I need your help this morning. I'm just looking. I looked at the Observer yesterday. I brought it to remind myself and show you. Here is your namesake, your son, in whom you are well pleased.
Yes.
I am no chicken.
Yes.
Yes, and the newspaper does what it normally does, try and sensationalize something.
Yes.
And it has a good coverage on the whole chicken issue. But you know, it raises for me a question that we try and deepen the discussion on this program. And I just wonder what are our investment priorities, and whether the market system of economy can meet our needs. Because, you know, one of the problems is that there is very little investment in agriculture. We've talked about that.
Yes.
But there's a whole heap of investment in high-rise apartments.
Yes.
Minister of Finance says,
and
look
in lending out money and doing all kind of things.
Right.
To make money.
Yes. And also tremendous amount of investment in motor car.
Oh Lord, every street you pass right around the country is full of cars.
So
and the US dollar
yes,
have to pay for them.
So and if you listen to the financial reports at night or whenever, the price of oil, yes,
Going up.
It's going up. It's nearly $100 a barrel now. It hasn't been that much for eight
quite
years.
a long time.
Yes. Now, are we? All of those investments are exercises of personal freedom. Freedom on behalf of my how I use my savings. Freedom with the financial institutions to lend our money where they think it's best.
Yes.
Okay, but how are they related to national objectives? And is that even an appropriate question?
Well, look at it this
That
way.
is what Honorable Pearnel Charles Jr. is facing, you know.
Yeah, but let me say this to you. There are two sets of us. In fact, let us go beyond that. Let's take the ideology first. There are countries that are governed under different ideology,
Right.
in which a few who are considered to be the government runs the thing on behalf of all of them. There are other countries which you have the rich, the poor, the major investors, the no investors. So you have, for example, in Jamaica, the man with the money is investing to make more money. And that investment go towards those who need his service but have little or no money, because he must amass an amount of money to improve his business, personally, family, businessmen, groups.
Is that righteous?
Well, it's you're asking me a question, but I'm going to tell you, you have to brand it with an ideology.
Yes.
Because there's an ideology that brands with that.
Yes.
In a socialist country,
Yes.
in a communist country, there are few that control that and does all that we are talking about on the rest of all, as it is said. In China, I gave you the document.
Yes.
In Jamaica, it don't go that way. And I'm going to go there before you get there, because I heard you this morning. The budget.
Yeah.
The budget might not be as big as the last, as many years ago.
No.
But what? Price increase, contract increase, all sort of increase. I mean, it gets down to the increase. You may only have service similar to many years ago.
Right.
So, billions of dollars don't mean you're going to get much more.
So what's the point?
Well, if you don't increase the money to pay more to the teachers,
You'll fall back.
pay more to the public service, pay more to the police, and the politician. I hear somebody say, don't leave out the politician, Pearnel. Right? If you don't pay for the current service, you fall way below what they used to get 5 or 10 years ago. So is the big budget does not necessarily mean additional or bigger service.
Okay.
It means same service, but oil was $25 and $30 a barrel. It's now nearly $100, and you need the same amount of. You need more oil because you have more cars.
So what is it? What is the hope for the future?
Why don't let me? You are the. You pose it.
Yeah, all right. And I'm here.
And I want you
Okay,
to let us discuss what's the alternative to that.
Well, the alternative.
You go first, because you're brighter than me.
No, but I'm hoping that we can have a combination both of significant personal freedoms, but also progressive national objectives. Yes.
Say that again.
We can have significant personal freedoms. Yes. It doesn't have to be controlled by the Politburo.
Yes.
Okay. But neither do I want to have a control by the Politburo of Finance.
Yeah, but But what's the alternative?
Well, the
Because-
alternative.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
The alternative, it seems to me, is the one that serves. The alternative is one that does two things. One, it serves the broadest mass of people. Yes, because people are easy to leave out in the whole thing, in the whole equation. And secondly, a system that has the deepest and most continuous effort to include others in the decision making rather than to centralize it.
Well, that sounds good. So let's get on to reality now.
Okay, sir.
Let's take Andrew Holness as Prime Minister
Yeah.
and Miss Brown in his constituency.
Yeah.
And Miss Brown would like to send her children to school as she used to do 5 years ago.
Right.
But the taxi fare is 3 times.
Yeah.
The food fare is 4 times.
Yeah.
The clothes is 7 times.
Yeah.
And she have to now get all the thing you call the
Tablet.
tablet.
Yeah.
She have to get all of those things.
All of them things.
And she is only getting $7,500 at minimum wage.
Yes, sir.
So she attend you and mine and Andrew Holness's office and say, listen, you have to find money to make it up, or else the picnic have to stay a yard. And listen, it's not easy.
But
It's not easy. It's easy to criticize. It's not easy to perform. And we have been there.
Yes, but I don't think. But then it's
And it's really, let me say it before you throw it at me. It's not perfect.
no, and it's
And it
can't be
it could have
complacent.
other adjustments.
You can't be complacent with imperfection, sir.
No, that's so nice. Say that again.
You can't be
Cannot
complacent.
be complacent with
Yeah.
imperfection.
Well, you're
However,
your talk say it like it can't change.
however, look here.
Yes.
It's not necessarily imperfection, it's reality.
Yeah, but reality is not static. That is why human beings have intelligence and wit, and that is why we prize freedom, so that we can exercise those freedoms in the interest of making the totality better.
Yes,
Yesterday I attended the 100th anniversary of the company, Grace Kennedy,
Yes.
and I went purposely.
Yes.
Because Grace Kennedy makes a lot of money.
Yes.
Yes, but they, among other companies, have a very consistent approach to social responsibility.
Yes.
Yes. Now, to me, it's not perfect, just as you said, but it is that is a best practice among commerce, one of the best practices among commerce in Jamaica, and it deserves to be applauded.
Yes, and it's not Grace Kennedy alone.
No,
But
it was their occasion.
Grace Kennedy is a large company,
Right,
and it employs a large body of people,
right,
and it serves a major part of the country.
right.
And it has a young, conscious leader. I can tell you, I sat with him the time when they lent him to the cabinet.
Yeah,
We sat side by side.
yeah,
I learned some commerce from him.
yeah.
And he might have learned a little politics. I'm not quite sure.
Uh-huh.
However, there are other companies making big money in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what they're doing with it.
Well, I know what they're doing with it.
They're reinvesting in other areas,
Yeah,
controlling,
Uh-huh.
and
And a lot of the money goes out of the country.
they might be banking it in other
Yeah,
areas.
of course they do. Of course they do.
Do you know how many companies in Jamaica have buying big stocks in America?
Yes, sir. So they argue that two things. One, that the Jamaican economy and society, with all of its complaints about crime and corruption, etc., is not worthy of further investment by them. And secondly, that it is part of their strategy to go wherever the profits are. And if the profits mean that they repatriate what they gain in Jamaica back to Canada, then that'll be fine. That is personal freedom.
Yes.
Yes, that is the exercise of personal freedom enshrined in our Constitution. Yes, I've read the documents of when the Constitutional Commission, when they were forming Jamaica's Constitution, listened particularly to a man now departed named Mr. Leslie Ashenheim,
Yes.
and his insistence on the rights of private property.
Yes.
Okay, and I agree with them. Yes, to a great extent, but it can't be unbridled, and it can't become the majority cannot become the captive of the minority.
Yes, but for it
But
not to
Mr.
become...
Charles, you, the trade unionist, sir, see that in front of you.
Yes.
And getting worse.
For it not to be captured by the minority.
Yeah.
You have to do something that makes the minority turn you out to be what? A dictator?
No. I think we could. I think there are stages before then. I thought you were going to say that you have to do things that are going to make the majority more capable of functioning as a responsible social and economic persona themselves. And therefore, I looked, for example, immediately at the budget. I looked at what is being provided for education.
Yes.
And while there is some significant uptick in capital expenditure.
Yeah.
The education budget is in fact flat.
I mean, it's not as big as it should be because it's still bigger, than it used to be. But with the amount of children now and the amount of schools that's needed, the amount of teachers to be paid.
So what I'm asking, and I'm especially asking you, I treasure your views on this, and the public listening to us will as well because of your experience.
Yes.
What hope do the majority have for their future, their fruitful future in Jamaica? Every night they are beguiled on television, yes, by advertisements which tell them that the way forward is to gamble your money. Even $20 can win you how much? Okay, they are beguiled to buy a certain kind of food which is overpriced, expensive, and can help them with brain development. They are struggling with all of the asperities of devalued dollar, high price, companies having to spend vast amounts on security because of the crime situation. Yes, justifying all the bank fees by having to have more security guard. And I am bound to think, to validate myself, and to persuade my grandchildren to stay in Jamaica. Yes.
What in fact you are doing a while ago, setting the base for a revolution.
I think we need a revolution. We need.
Hold on.
Yes, remember, I'm the radical, and you're the gradualist.
You have to define revolution.
Radical change doesn't have to be. It should never be destructive. Should never be violent. Yes, but it has to be profound.
Where are you going to find that, Ronnie, in Jamaica? That you walk to other companies, not necessarily Grace Kennedy, and say, look, we want to take over the sports for the children island-wide. And they take over cricket, football, exams. Where?
I'm not suggesting that charity is wonderful, but charity...
But not necessarily charity, because without those people, without we, the masses, buying...
Yes.
From them, they don't have a business.
Well, let me share with you.
And we're buying at a price that we cannot afford to buy. We borrow, we beg, we trust.
No, but that's a dismal description. In the 3 minutes we have until we break, I'm interested. The dilemma that we are facing in this discussion comes to a bump in respect of the chicken prices.
Yes.
Okay. Chicken prices in Jamaica are supported by a more than 200% duty on imported chicken. How long is that sustainable, sir? Secondly, government, the state, all of us, yes, both administrations, charge duty at the same time as we bawl about the high price of chicken. Yes? We put a duty on corn, on soya, which are the major feed ingredients. We put a duty on the very hatching eggs that your son, the good minister, is seeking to get now from Brazil and from anywhere in the world.
Also, I noticed that you are the advisor to my son. I was wondering, you better find a man who call him and tell him get another gun.
Well, that is so tragic That is so
I said to him,
arms house business.
I said to him, young man, that is the road that you have to walk on. There, some high,
Yes,
some low.
some low.
And I said, listen to me carefully.
Yes.
You buy a brand new Mercedes Benz.
Yes.
You get an I-95.
Yeah.
You don't expect to find a pothole.
No.
Boop! You drop in a pothole. Puncture. And you come out and say, my Lord, I just buy a new car. And I said, hold on, young man. The makers express that it may happen.
Yeah.
Guess what? They put a spear in the back. Open the back. Take out the spear. Put it on.
And drive on.
Drive on.
Yes.
You are not a chicken.
Good advice. I agree. But you understand?
I understand.
There are things that we can do, yes, that can ease the situation, that are revolutionary in terms that they can change the whole character. Yes, we have become. When you were a boy, sir, yes, you didn't you chicken like how Jamaicans eat chicken, no?
No. But
Okay.
I had alternatives.
Yes. So what has happened to those alternatives? You ate much more peas and beans, didn't you? You had other sources of protein.
Yes.
Okay. Now, personal preferences are very nice and important, but at the same time,
And education too.
So-
Let's say, in other words, when rain fall, and my father half acre of peas rain catch it,
yeah,
and half of it grow.
yeah.
My mother don't throw it, they grow
No,
peas,
sir.
you know.
Okay.
Follow me?
Yes.
And for probably for a week or two, we'll
Pea
drink
soup.
pea soup, but guess what? We're strong.
You're strong.
And when she cleaning up the cabbage,
Yes.
and she take off the top worm
Yes,
one,
yes.
and have to go to the further. You know what I mean?
Shouldn't have thrown that way neither.
Holy, in other words, Ronnie,
So
you have a new thing and you have to pay for it.
this is the revolution I'm talking about, and which we will continue to discuss on the early rise. We don't skin up, we don't walk away from the difficult subjects. Jamaica is a great country, its people are better. Soon come. Right, Mr. Charles,
Yes.
can we go back to the big issue we have
Let's go to that. You know more. What are the ingredients in the feeding for chickens?
corn and soya.
Corn and soya.
Yeah, largely.
So, and it's imported.
It's imported, all of it, and taxed. No, we were saying, and let's confirm this. Remove any tax from corn and soya and from hatching eggs, and I believe you will persuade people that you, as government, that you have given up something, and that you are doing so as a quid pro quo, as a condition for them to abate the price increases to the consumer.
Well, based on my experience as a minister, I would say get to the bargaining table. See, I'm a trade unionist.
We know.
So I negotiate.
Yeah.
I say, if I give up these three,
Yeah.
what do you think you will be able to give up?
Yeah.
And we negotiate that.
Yeah.
And I am a politician, so I have to get a little out of it.
Well.
So I say, listen, to the people, you used to pay $300 a
per
pound.
pound.
Based on a decision that we have taken now, you are going to pay $200.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to give them the reason, or you can, so that you don't be a buyout or a sellout. You say, we have removed this from the corn, the soya, the this, the that, the medicine, and we're giving it to the masses.
Sure.
Because,
GCT.
hold on, Pearnel said something to me which frightens the hell out of me. Said, Daddy, you don't see the problem yet, you know. Climate change may mean we get so much rain, we get too much rain, or we get no rain at all.
Yeah.
Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
We get no rain at all, or we get so much rain that we can't manage it.
Yeah.
And that's what climate change
Yeah.
is heading for.
Yeah.
And so he said, food preservation, that's the proper word.
Food production.
No, the-
I see. Food processing. Yes. To preserve that which we grow.
preserve what we grow and to make sure there is food.
Yes, sir. Food security.
Food security. And that is one of the challenge that is before him.
So let me ask you this. This is exciting stuff. Revolutionary don't mean only more gun and fighting in the street,
No.
Revolution means the capacity of the human will and the human brain to make profound changes for the better. So, hear me now. I'm.
You know what I used to call it?
What?
And I used to call it radical change.
Very good, sir. I adopt your language. And coming from a gradualist like yourself, that pleases my heart. Anyway, let's be concrete about it for our listeners. All of the uncertainties of climate change given.
Yes.
We have thousands of acres of land.
Yes.
In the south of St. Catherine, Clarendon. Yes.
On to Westmoreland.
Yeah, but those lands,
St. Elizabeth.
those lands, St. Catherine, right through to the Manchester Hills, those are irrigated lands. You have something called the St. Dorothy irrigation system, which was put in at public expense years ago. Yes, which and you see it. The large proportion of those lands, are not producing food. So how can you have security in the context of climate change, where you might get too much rain or you might get too little rain, drought, more likely that, yes? And you're not using your best asset.
You were at the table when I was discussing it.
No, I wasn't. But
I said to him, young man, how many farmers do we have in Jamaica? Small farmers.
Yeah.
How about?
200,000 plus.
How many of them can feed themselves?
Very few.
Say that again.
Yes. Very few.
So, the man go to this cutlass and get up right now.
Yeah.
He might have a donkey for ride.
Yeah.
Or he might have a water boat to walk in, or none.
Yeah.
He might still be going barefoot with him cutlass and him hope on his shoulder. Right? And him work like hell from daylight till night come down. And when he is ready to reap, either them thief the one banana, or it not come.
So can we talk about how to deal with that now? Because the past can inform us. Yes. In the past, he managed to feed himself. Why? Because he had one cow or two cow. Yes. And the condenser used to come around and buy the milk.
Give me my father used to wake me at 4 o'clock for go milk and meat. Mr. Man, for send him
what a blessing that father was to you.
Go to buy a condenser.
Go to condenser. That gave a cash economy. The second, for a large number of farmers, maybe not in Top St. Anne, was the issue of banana. Okay? Because banana grow. And even when storm blow it down, it stand up again soon. It soon come back.
You can catch it on
and banana banana sell at the boxing plant.
No, the truck come.
The truck come.
You cut the banana, put out a gate.
Yes.
And the truck come and pick up.
Look at that.
And go to the banana place. And guess what?
Yes.
When banana is left over at the banana house in Bagwalk or somewhere, on Thursdays, they send a truckload of ripe banana to schools.
Well, look at that. You see, I didn't even know that.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yes, elementary school. I used to get like on a Thursday evening, you hear the truck come.
Yeah.
And you have to sit down because you will get a banana. Right? Or there's a ripening house somewhere in the district where the ripe banana will come from. Right? And there was what has happened? What has happened?
Well, this is it. No, we have for whatever reasons, terms of trade, etc., disease, all these features.
Yeah, disease. But the Panama disease has knocked away the Gross Mitchell.
Yes, sir. But then we've done better. We know that the Williams variety and the others.
Yes, and we have Lacatan.
Sure.
And the other one that coming that bears even better, they say.
So therefore, sir,
not as sweet as
what we have to ask ourselves is, how can we sustain ourselves more? Yes, how can we use the past and adapt it to the present? If I looked at the budget, and I haven't gone through it fully yet, we can talk more about that later in the week, no doubt. But when I see, if I were privileged to say a word to the Minister of Agriculture, I would tell him, look at the College of Agriculture in Pastel Gardens in Portland. Look at the agricultural schools, Sydney Pagan, Knockalva, those places, and see how you can enthuse.
That's why I thought you were in the room,
some of those young people, yes, who are the children of the small farmers, instead of them feeling there's no future for me in this, make that land go burial plot for daddy, yes, but I'll make it stand there. But I go on to Kingston, or I go on to Slowbucks, or to Brooklyn, yes, but to see a future in this. And certainly, there should be shade houses, greenhouses, scientific production on every acre of irrigated land. And investment is the only element that is going to make that happen. When Minister Audley Shaw, years ago, not so long ago, 2-3 years ago, was saying that with the decline of cane, yes, cane and sugar, that there were people lining up for leasing of the sugar lands, my heart rose. I said, my goodness, but what has happened?
Hold on,
Nobody.
Let me tell you what happened.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to be a symbol of a small man.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And so everybody got a 2 acre if you were working in the factory. People have not gone to produce what they should do. So I said to my son, when you lease a man 5 acres of land, and don't, in other words, if you have 1,000 acres of land, you determine what it's going to plant. If it's 1,000 acres of pumpkin, 1,000 acres of melon, or tomato. So if you want 5 acres, you want 5 acres to plant what is there. So you can now market.
Sure.
You can say to the diaspora,
yes,
I'm going to get 100 acres of pumpkin.
Yes.
And so Canada stand by, America stand by, Britain stand by, diaspora can talk about breadfruit and melon and mango coming.
So
holy word. But the little man alone can't do it.
No.
So guess what? There are some big men who sit down every 12 o'clock in Pegasus, right? You know them?
Yes, sir.
Having lunch.
Yeah.
They need to take charge of agriculture.
Okay.
Because the small man Cutlass and who can't do it anymore. Needs tractors, petrol, he needs vehicle, he needs spray, he needs fertilizer, and he cannot manage that. So guess what? He has to work for you. I work with you.
Okay. But then
when Seaga started, I got 21.
It was a sound concept, the mother farm concept. Yes, sir. But then you the same investor, the bank manager, okay, the private investment company, he's saying, oh no, I can't invest in that. I need a government guarantee because rain might fall or drought might come.
A storm might come blow down my banana.
Yeah, and then I can't, you see, when I lend $2 million or $50 million for a car, which $2 million? I know that if the guy doesn't pay, first of all, he's not going to let his car. He would rather starve his grandmother than make his car get seized. Okay, because that is an extension of his proboscis. Okay, but he even if he defaults on it, I know I can sell that back in a week's time.
Yeah, but
recover my money. I can't do that if you're dealing with a crop. The state has to take a leadership in this regard. It was done with Agro 21. It faltered, yes, and it was less cared. It was Michael Manley tried to do it with Hounslow. Many of us tried to do it with the sugar cooperatives, yes, but we faltered because our mind and our political will was not sufficiently focused.
Could I disrespect you and say, let's stop right there?
All right.
Touch a word.
Yes.
The political will to do it will remove you from political power.
Yeah, so?
So hold on. Now don't ask me so what. Because you know exactly what so what is.
No, but I'm going to because the man. I want a system. It will remove you from political power. Hear my strong words now, revolutionary words. In the bankrupt Westminster model that we have now, if I know, that my future, my political future, is not in a winner-take-all system, where always I have somebody who is trying to overthrow me, albeit peaceably. Yes, sometimes not peaceably in the history that you well have been the victim and both of us are participant in, but that we have a system that is going to encourage us to cooperate. Because you will have a part, sir, and I will have a part. Maybe you will be first in the kingdom for 5 years, and I will be second or third, and we reverse the roles.
But we all will get to heaven.
We all get to heaven. With that.
That's running. Let's not make a joke of it, because it's a very serious thing.
Yes.
The big man,
Yeah.
with his money,
Yeah.
feels safe with it than to try it in the plains of Clarendon. We have thousands of acres of land.
I understand that,
And there's water underneath, but the little man can't dig well.
No. So
The little man can't service a well.
So where is the intermediation of the state? And where do we see that intermediation evident in the budget that the Parliament is standing committee?
But you're bringing in the state now
Yes.
to work, which is contrary to the ideology.
No, but you see that ideology wrong. That ideology is wrong. That ideology
So that
is
is
an
where
ideology
that is where you and I
yeah.
want the new what? What would you call it?
Proportional representation.
You want a new political system
Yes, based on that.
where people can work together,
Yeah.
get benefited together.
Yeah.
You don't have big man,
But-
small man, and no man at
But
all.
hold on, sir. We don't need to isolate ourselves into ideological camps. Yesterday at the Grace function, Don Webby repeated a maxim, a principle of the late Carlton Alexander.
Yes.
He said it very simply: "What's good for Jamaica is good for Grace. What's good for Jamaica is good for Grace." That is a blend of corporate profit making and national responsibility. Hard to work out, but a good place to start.
But who is going to define what is described as good for Jamaica?
I think, well, first of all,
Because
I can't
you know where I'm going.
I do, but I think we can. First of all, there is broad agreement. For example, that food security. Quote your son.
Yes.
Food security
Must be good for
must
Jamaica.
be good for Jamaica.
For all of us.
Well, absolutely. So if we start with that foundation, yes, start with that foundation, which is a firm, universally accepted one. Well, by most people, then surely we can build up together on that.
Yeah, but somebody have to make the sacrifice.
Well, sir, yes.
And hold on, Ronnie.
But people are making the sacrifice right now,
But the big man has to make a money sacrifice for the investment to the man who don't have the money to do the investment, to buy the fertilizer, to buy the plow.
But if we manage it in the right way, if we're not corrupt, if we're not disunited, we have a good chance to do this. It's not a silver bullet, but it can do better. The ordinary people of Jamaica are making the sacrifice right now. Yes, every time they get a little money and they have to go, for example, and pay bank fees or bank take their money. I'm just using one extreme example. I'm not demonizing banks alone. Then they are paying it right now. The 900 billion budget nearly reached 1 trillion. How much zero in a trillion, Mr. Charles? Yes. Where that money coming from? That money is coming from the ordinary people of Jamaica. It is coming from the 60% principally of those workers who are earning minimum wage or only slightly above.
Yes, so here is it now.
So they're making it already.
Here is it now.
And others are benefiting,
Here
not
is it
them.
now. What's the young man at separate name?
Richard Pandui.
Mr. Pandui.
Uh-huh.
The man at Grace getting the name?
Don Webby.
Mr. Don Webby. What's the big man, Mr. Duncan name?
Keith Duncan.
Keith Duncan. I just call street.
Sure.
And I'm sure you can add another 6.
I can.
Now, these are the men. And they're going to say, well, not my business, that,
Oh,
and
whose
the
business?
politician business. That.
So wait, hold on.
No. Let me not accuse them, because we have seen fellas like Pandui and
Webby
and Duncan. Because I said to Duncan one time, it's like, what's the big man in the world that we spoke about the other day, say which he was in charge of the United Nations?
I don't remember who was that.
One of the rich billionaires that give 5% instead of.
I get you. Was it Warren Buffett? No, I don't think it was.
In other words, what we are saying, if these
Jeffrey Sachs,
right, if these names that we are calling are able to identify, could sit down and say, listen, we're going to take 15% out of what money we make last year and put it in agriculture for food security under our management. Because listen, 2,000 small farmers, some can't feed themselves. We want some big farmers with some big plots. Government have the land.
Yes.
Big man can buy the fertilizer, can buy the tractor, can put up the well. Little man can get jobs, better jobs than minimum wage.
And eat more. And
that's a radical change that I want to see.
And buy more of your product eventually.
Hold on.
So it's a virtuous cycle.
Hold on.
Okay.
The cycle is there because these big guys would have the plane standing by, the diaspora guys in Canada waiting, and the bulk of what is left, Coronation Market, Linseed Market,
school feeding,
Montego Bay, big thing.
So
school feeding.
So who needs to take the lead in this regard?
I hear that man who just borrowed. Why you are running never thought that you in a parliament?
Seriously, and my
Ronnie, you have to listen to them too.
No, because answer is
we have to take some responsibility.
No, clearly, and having taken the responsibility, and if you want to give me too big lick for that, you can go on. My back will take it. But if I know better now, I will do better now. Yes, if you are going to tell me
because you didn't do it, you mustn't do it.
No, but that's wrong. Foolishness, because it doesn't attack or refute or correct the integrity of the position being put forward. Rather, it starts to attack Pearnel, Charles, and Ronnie Thwaites, and a generation of cynic politicians. How that works?
In fact, I am very pleased that we are able to see things. Having gone through the fire, we are able to see things and can say to those who are not that there. And you spoke about the agricultural school.
Right.
And I did ask my son about that. Agricultural school should be training some of the top agriculturalists for Jamaica.
Clearly, sir.
Not. It's like, I don't want to call name, but there's a university that I have all been upset with. We call itself technical, and it started the teaching, lawyer, competed, and the real engineering.
But
has not come to us.
Let us use your wisdom now, because we have psychologized ourselves into believing that it's not important for really bright people to be involved in something like food security.
That is foolishness.
But of course it is. But let me tell you a personal story. I have two sons, or two of my sons, two prominent bankers, now deceased.
Yes.
Once asked me about these two sons. One is a collector of university degrees. Yes? The other is a graduate of two agricultural universities. Yes, and their immediate response, it was a kind response, they were kindly, about the two of them, is about the chap who went to agriculture. Oh, he's not the bright one, eh?
Yeah.
What, it said to me, our values are way offline. We expect to sit down at the Pegasus and have the finest meal. Nothing wrong with that. I like that sometimes, okay? But we are mindless of where the food comes from. What can be more basic to human life than food security, especially in an era of climate change, Mr. Charles?
Well, Ronnie, I don't know if I am in the right thing at this time, you know. Because of what this young man is telling me is likely to come. That the sea in another 200 years may make Jamaica a little piece of land.
Well, but I think of your son, and he's caught on the horns of a dilemma, and first of all, he has to deal with the realities of agricultural agriculture in Jamaica, the use of land, the absence of credit, the possibilities of disease, teething, all of that. But at the same time, his knowledge makes him adept about climate change.
Yes.
And therefore, he's caught now. He has to find a way that advances agriculture, because we have to live with food, through food, and we have to take into account the likelihood of climate change. Okay, and that there's a message. I'm putting words in his mouth. There's a message to all of us who have any role in public thinking or in government. Because you can't spend the money, you can't spend the accumulated savings of this country on high-rise buildings and car. Not because they're bad, but because we can't sustain them.
Ronnie, you might be afraid to say it because, well, let me say this. It cannot make any sense.
Yeah.
Drive through Jamaica.
Yeah.
There are thousands of cars parked.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They were bought or they're sent here,
Yeah.
and you have to be paying US dollars.
Yes, sir.
Now, if a government say, hold on now, Bertrand, no more cars for a while, what happened?
Riot? I don't think so.
Well,
I think if you provide alternatives.
them can't go to no election.
But this is a foolishness, because if succeeding at election means continuing with a bad policy or a policy that may have been good at one time but is no longer sustainable, what is the integrity of politics, sir?
Well, you tell me that when I was running, I wouldn't accept it.
No, but then
Now that I am not running,
Yeah,
running. Let's be frank.
Okay, I understand
Now
what
that
you're
I
saying.
am not running, I
Yeah.
can see exactly what you're saying.
yeah.
So hell with the fact that you want that.
Yeah.
This is the right way.
So let us design a politics then that helps life to go forward in constructive ways, rather than one that impedes it. It's as simple as that. It is as complex as that, I grant you. But that is that to me, if you have 46 seats or whatever in government, in parliament, that is what you must do. Otherwise, frankly, the very stool that you are sitting on, the very foundation of your state is going to
Collapse
collapse and you drop down.
Yes.
And if we looked at our political history through a particular lens, we will see that is exactly what happens.
Yes.
It is because Labour Right in its turn, PNP in its turn, cannot deliver what the people reasonably need, that they spit us out.
Because, Ronnie, when you promise the people that you are going to do it, you document it in a manifesto.
Yes, sir.
And you say, look, elect me.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then when you get there, hold on. A third government comes in to direct you what to do.
Well, look at that.
There's a third government
Yes.
that has never faced the people. Who's telling you even who to elect,
Yes, sir.
even who to make minister.
Hear Mr. Charles telling you that now.
But Ronnie,
Uh-huh.
as you know, I spoke to Christoph Town,
Yeah.
who I admire very much.
Yeah.
And I think he's a hard-working guy. In fact, I said, Chris, you look like you're losing weight
Yeah.
under the pressure. He said, no. And I said, the cry, say, fire Chris. Who are you going to put there? For what?
But he's doing the
And-
best. He's
and
doing
I
the
saw-
best.
and I
He's doing
saw-
the best within a system. But it's a system
It
that
may not be the best.
He's,
It is the
He's
best.
trying to win the 100 meter Olympics. Yes, with running in boogers rather than spikes.
and didn't take off all the chains.
Take off all the chains. Excellent. We take a break on the early rise. We're talking about Jamaica's issues. We're talking about the prospects for the future. We believe in this country. We believe that every individual, every institution must inure to the benefit of all of us. It can be done. There's more when we return. Pearnel Charles, we can diffuse any personal tension, any national or community problem by our capacity to just elevate it to a level of enjoyment, of liberty, of humor, you know. One of the best gifts that Almighty God has given the Jamaican people is our capacity to laugh with ourselves, you know. Don't you agree?
But I want to challenge diaspora, Jamaicans.
Yeah.
I want them to, they listen to us. And I am uncomfortable with the political system as it is.
Okay.
Because it will not allow me to do what I know should be done, must be done for survival, and surviving it. In other words, to survival, I need to survive. I need to stay there. Right? There's something in me to say, if you do that, you're not going to stay there. You're actually putting yourself on the ground. And I want to be able to say, so what? Like Ronnie. And I'm not, I have not developed to that level yet to say, so what?
Okay. So
I want to bring in
how we gonna get
some
there?
Jamaica. And if I join you on Wednesday, if you dedicate a day, come tell me. And I'm not talking about the one or two man.
Fair enough.
I'm talking about students, professors, people who listen to us and hear.
Well,
and I am uncomfortable with what we have now, but I'm also uncomfortable with the change that I think has to come. I want you to help me.
All right.
Come with some advice.
Okay, but remember, let us schedule that, and encourage our listeners to participate. But remember, when last week we were talking with Beauregard at Iricham in New York,
yes,
and we said to him, listen, how Jamaican people in the tri-state area, your listeners, how they view this politics. They divide up on PNP and JLP, and he said no. He said they tease each other about that, but they are facing a reality within their own communities where they need to make certain changes. Yes, and they also view us from that distance, and they realize that a lot of the things that we use to divide ourselves are irrelevant.
Yes, but Ronnie, I was there, and at any meeting, you can see, let us say you have 100 people. It's 100 people in New York that would not have sit together in Jamaica. In other words, you have PNP, JLP, no P.
They sat up there.
And that is better.
They sat up there together, but they wouldn't sit down here.
That's right.
There's a JLP minister who was my roommate for years at university. We became friends. So what we're going to fight each other now? What we're going to do that? What is the fundamental difference?
Let me tell you what the difference is. The pie.
Oh.
The pie. The pie.
Yeah.
The crust on the pie is the politics that puts you over the right-hand side,
yes,
or over the left-hand side.
Even if you are right, then that would only be the case if the pie was so small that all of us couldn't share in it. And even if that is since that is the case, not if, since that is the case, then surely the answer that mature people who have a heart of service must do is to sit down and negotiate the thing. You should know that. I was reading a book over the weekend, yes, about the ideals of a servant state. It's by a man named Jeff Mulligan, who was one of the main advisors to Tony Blair, policy advisors, yes. And he's saying, look, surely mature people who have a disposition to be a servant of the people, rather than a lord and master over them, yes. Surely they can negotiate this. He has a little wry humor. He says the great task is to persuade political leaders to behave like servants, even if they think like crooks. But all right. He can take that pot shot at us. But the fact of the matter is, surely we have enough sense in order to be able. We're coming out of the crucible of a history. Look at how the majority of people in this country, yes, black people, came out of the abyss of slavery and have been able to negotiate to a level of personal engagement, of social involvement, even if it falls short even if we are still inured in a political system which you are acknowledging and which, of course, I agree, is inadequate to our needs. Yes? We can work it out.
All right. You remember I called you the other day
Yes.
when the parliament was in session.
Yes, sir.
And you remember I assaulted you.
Yeah.
I watched the parliament.
Yeah.
The prime minister was in blue
Yeah.
suit with looked like a greenish tie.
Okay.
Mark was in a blue suit.
Mark Golding, leader of
Yeah.
the BNP, was in a blue suit too.
Yes.
Yeah.
With look nearly green but not so green.
Nothing orange about him.
Hold on. The Minister of Finance
Yeah.
was in a blue suit.
Uh-huh.
So all three top boys
Yeah.
were wearing the same
Suit. By coincidence, yes, probably.
And I said to myself, I wonder if what is on the outside is in the inside.
Ah.
Because what we need now in the head
Yeah.
is to say, listen, brethren, it not working.
Yes, sir.
How can it work?
Yeah.
And the only way it won't work
Yeah.
is if you will not take your eye off who is going to be prime minister,
Yeah.
who is going to have the majority.
Yeah.
So Fidel Castro,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, was faced with the same thing.
Yes.
He said, listen, the only way it can work is to get rid of that side.
Yeah. But Lee Kuan Yew did the same thing
Exactly.
from a different ideological corner.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
And maybe Lee Kuan Yew is a better example because his system was closer to ours.
Yeah.
And his system, in his radical change, was still closer to what it was.
Yeah.
Not as far as the socialist was.
Cuba became a socialist enclave.
but
Singapore has become a
recognized that-
capitalist enclave.
He recognized that what it cannot work. Or it was not working.
Yeah.
You said it can work.
Yeah.
I know that I've lived long, but I don't think that I'll be able to live as long as what you are expecting to come will come.
No, but even if it doesn't, even if the time doesn't fit, because we are all mortal, though some people think they're not, at least we make the right steps for the future. And each of us wants our children to come out better than we did. And so at least we show them the direction. At least they can see, boy, there's progress, there's future here. I don't have to go to wherever or stay there if I go there in order to make good, in order to be happy. Yes, I may not be as rich here as I will be there, but then how much after you eat, your belly full, and after you sleep, how much bed you can sleep in?
You eat again.
Well, but what I'm trying to get across is that the good life can be achieved here in Jamaica. It cannot be achieved here in Jamaica if we are constantly at war with each other.
Well, put it this way. Everybody can have a little in them belly if we continue one set of people belly full and one empty.
Yes. And
if you don't make up your mind, say, listen, I am not going to fill my belly.
Yeah.
And John don't have any.
Yeah.
Right? But the political ideology is restrictive.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that the big boys of Lee Kuan Yew and the Fidel, and they had faced the same thing and said the only way to get rid of it is to get rid of that side.
Mr. Charles,
yes.
You know I'm a Bible man.
Eh?
You know I'm a Bible man.
Yes.
Okay. Paul writing to the Galatians, okay, chapter 5, verse 14. Stand firm and do not take on yourselves the yoke of slavery a second time. Talking to the Jamaican people.
You sure you don't make up that?
No, for the whole law has found its fulfillment in this one saying, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Listen now, if you go on biting and tearing one another to pieces, take care, you will end up in mutual destruction.
That sounds too modern. You should.
When you go home.
That describes what we're saying now.
But this is it. The part
and
about...
And how many years that has been...
Well, the part... some would say, see, can't change. Look from them time. Come up. But the question of second slavery, put yourself in second slavery. The original slavery was a slavery of the body. yes, a constraint of the
It's
body.
a slavery of the mind now.
Yeah, our prophets Garvey, Marley, yes, told us, listen now, that is one thing. You can pull off the chains, but if your mind is shackled, yes, you're still not free. And that is what we're facing now in respect of the very subject that we are talking about, that you are saying, that we have taken unto ourselves a political system. Logical in the era of Bustamante and Manley, who were trying to negotiate independence from England in the post-war period. Okay?
And they were doing it not as one.
No.
And this is where the problem is.
Yes.
They may have gone there as one.
Yeah, but they had
But
different objectives.
when they land back
Manly's two separate crowd.
Two separate crowd.
Yes, sir.
And
Okay.
this one goes to say what was done and this one.
Yeah.
They never came back as one and one make a talk on behalf of the other.
So, remember, even at the independence celebrations, the question was, what is Manly doing here? Oh, no.
What is he doing here?
Yes.
How did he get here?
How did he get here? Why is
And the system.
Yes,
the system.
The system played into that.
Yes.
And turned a man. Just let us put the history straight now. Turned a man who had good ideas for his people, and I believe a commitment for his people, made Siaga, God rest him, a tribalist, because he's the one who saw no place for anybody but his own tendency.
Yeah, but let me go a little further.
Oh my.
Let me go a little further.
What a disappointment.
Both of them
Yeah.
had crowds
Yes.
that they answered to. So it was not only Manley and
That
Siaga.
is what Brutus used against Julius Caesar.
You understand the point?
Crowd.
So everybody understand that when you take a stand like that,
Yeah.
probably a whole nation
Uh-huh.
is divided into two. And we still have it now.
Yeah, but then you can't, that's not progress. You're fighting on progress. That can't work. Don't we see it in front of us? Despite the best efforts of the present government, yes, with a super majority, just as the PNP government that I was a part of in 1997 had a super majority, yes, okay, you face increasing disappointment. You face somebody like the Minister of Finance saying quietly, we have to diversify our economy. When I look at the budget for 2022-23, I don't see any evidence of this radical or purposeful diversification, because he's caught within a system that he cannot move out of unless he has a much greater level of unity and singularity of purpose.
Any change he tries to make will be capitalized on to replace him.
Yes, sir. So
you're right. So can we reach a stage where both systems, well, and I think it was put to Fidel too,
Yes.
and say, listen, that can't work. So
No, sir.
And to Lee Kuan Yew, join us or get rid of you.
Yes, well, I'm
Join
against,
us or get rid
I'm
of you.
against to get rid of you, because plenty times it's me them would get rid of, okay, because the kind of freedom of speech that we enshrine and
But you can't have both running.
Oh, no, I'm
You will not live long enough to have both.
Well, why? Why can't we be mature enough to allow people, yes, freedom of expression, but at the same time insist upon unity of purpose and action, and treat differences of views not as a basis for tearing down one or the other, doing what the Galatians says, yes, finding some basis of mutual unity. Because if you continue this way, yes, what you're doing is you're heading for mutual destruction. Yes?
I hear a man that's ball out in his bedroom. Yes, one can talk it, but one can't act it.
Well, the first thing to do is to conceive it. The next thing is to talk it. The third thing to do is to improve people's discourse about it, and to have leaders. That's what you have leaders for, that are going to engineer the change. And that's exactly what we are trying to provoke.
Okay, so something has to lead the leaders. Mm-hmm. The leaders has to be committed to something.
Yes. Well,
and once they are committed to something that is agreeable, the followers will follow.
I believe more so. It won't be smooth, but it will happen, and that's why I believe that I believe the scriptures tell us in great measure where we are to go. Others may use secular philosophers, that's fine, but it is obvious that we need to go in the direction. Let us circle the argument as we come to the end of this program. Food security.
Yes.
If we accept that, yes, your flesh and blood, your son, has responsibility, chief responsibility for that now.
Yes.
If for the next 3 years, 5 years, we say that this, given climate change, given the world economic situation, given the pressures, international pressures, etc., our main priority, maybe others, but our main priority is to achieve a much higher level of food security for Jamaicans.
You know, there's sometimes you have left out.
What?
Mama say, you eat it so long that you don't want nothing else. In other words, we have to take our mind off the importation of certain things and come home.
Yeah.
And it means that we have to reduce some of the things that we're having.
But we are bright enough to do that. Yes. And when you see what our brightest do, where they can turn cornmeal, yes, or blue draws into gourmet dishes, I have no doubt that we have the capacity to do this. Yes.
But hear this now.
Yeah.
We have the capacity to do this, but you know what this generation considers?
Yeah.
You're going back to the old days.
What's wrong with that?
When you used to make a pot of turn corn,
yes, sir.
Make it cold,
yes, sir.
And you cut it in slice, and you put it in banana leaf and carry go to school, and you carry a glass bottle in your back pocket with brebbage, and sometimes you run go to school, the bottle drop and broke. Right?
Pure water you have to drink.
Right? and you don't have nothing.
No.
So, man said, they're not going back to that.
No,
Guess what?
no,
because you know how
that's
pies,
good. Yeah, but
you have Popeye, you have KPH, I mean, you have burgers.
Yes.
What the hell do you want me to go back to ton corn and roast potato wrap up in a newspaper?
Yes.
And hold on. I told you about the bread, you know. I want somebody to come and say, am I the only one who knows the bread name John Stanhope?
John Stanhope. No, I've never heard about that.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry, I'm a town man.
Well, I want someone to call me if I was in a different world.
Yeah.
But I know the bread that come, they're like 6 in a packet and they stand up so.
And name John Stanhope.
And I will tell you off here, when I discover who it was called John Stanhope.
And I understand that probably is an appropriate metaphor for us to close and to wish all of our listeners here and abroad a happy Valentine's Day. May it be a day of softness, of compassion, of affection, and of love, because that is the only way that we will free our minds.
Is it only Jamaican or is it across the world?
It's across the world, man.
So to all our friends abroad, happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, Ronnie G is filling in for Richie B. My goodness. And this is Ronnie T telling you good morning and welcome. And thanks for the early rise with PC on the bridge, 99 FM. And LW, my goodness, you see that now? We're making all the initials work this morning, entirely affectionately.
See there?
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
What's the word? See it there?
See it there. Thanks very much for the program this morning. See you tomorrow. Take care.